Criston Cole is probably one of the most hated characters in House of the Dragon, and seeing the title of this video, you'd probably assume that I also hate him. And you'd be right, he really is one of the most disgusting characters in the show. But why? Why do so many people, including myself, hate him so much? Well, in this video, I'm going to try and explain why his characteristics make him so hateable. Spoiler warning for House of the Dragon as always. So, why is Sir Criston hated so much? I mean, both by the fandom and the writers themselves, who have openly expressed their dislike for the character. Anyway, even though Criston Cole's actions are not as evil as those of other characters like Daemon, Larys or Otto, he seems to have gotten way more hate than these characters. Everywhere I've looked, be it YouTube comments or Reddit or other social media platforms, it seems like people really just hate this guy. And can't help but call him an incel, which I'll admit is pretty funny, but not true. Well, he does act like it sometimes, but still. Well, there are a couple of reasons for this, and in this video, I will try to explain why most people, including myself, hate Sir Criston so much. Even more so than the other villains like Larys, who are far worse. So, let's start by explaining what makes Sir Criston's actions so hateable. And that is his lack of control. In the scene where he kills Joffrey, he also punches Laenor, a future king consort, which is something he really shouldn't get away with, but we have Alicent to thank for that. Anyway, the point is he's so furious he punches one of the royals that he's supposed to protect. In the scene where he kills Beastbear on the other hand, he smashes his head on the table so fucking hard that he accidentally kills the dude. He then proceeds to threaten his own Lord Commander, which is something a Kingsguard should never do. This lack of control really makes people lose all of the respect or sympathy that they had for a knight like Sir Criston Cole in the first place. Unlike other villains or violent men in House of the Dragon like Larry Strong, Daemon Targaryen or Otto Hightower, Sir Criston lacks control. Like, yeah, on paper these men do worse things than he does, but their actions are under their control. Their choices are theirs. Larys chose to kill his own father and brother. An incredibly evil deed, yes, but he chose to do that. Just like Daemon chose to kill Rhea Royce. He didn't go apeshit out of nowhere, it was a calculated murder. Cold-blooded and all, yes, but still more understandable due to the fact that he made the choice. He did not lose control and kill her in a fit of rage or something. Well, there's that one time where Daemon chokes Rhaenyra, I guess. Maybe you can now see why people hate these sort of scenes. Because audiences in general really hate it when a male character loses control, and is mostly seen as a savage because of it. But still, for the most part, these guys are capable of controlling their evil actions. Sir Criston loses his shit because someone dared raise suspicions about the actions of the perfect and righteous and virtuous queen he is in love with? I mean, this makes him even worse. Anyway, let's move on to the next point, hypocrisy. Criston Cole is also a bit of a hypocrite as well. I mean, on one hand he's like, I failed my duty as a Kingsguard by having sex with Rhaenyra, you know, cause Kingsguard takes vows of chastity and stuff. But on the other hand he's like, yeah, killing innocent people is like totally fine, man, no problem. Criston, you do know that the Kingsguard also swear other vows as well, right? Like, you know, here, I'll let my boy Jamie explain it for me.
So many vows. They make you swear and swear. Defend the king, obey your father, protect the innocent, defend the weak. And what if your father despises the king? What if the king massacres the innocent? It's too much. No matter what you do, you're forsaking one vow or another.
You see, not only does Sir Criston do violent things, but he continues to see himself and consider himself an honorable and worthy Kingsguard even after he commits these crimes. At least the other assholes in the show know that they are assholes, and if you were to have a conversation with them, they would probably admit the fact that their actions are bad, even though they would not care about it or would try to justify their actions with some fucked up logic. Like love is a downfall. I mean, take this scene for example. Larys doesn't give a flying fuck when he explains what he did to Alicent. He of course knows that what he did was bad, but he's not stupid, he just doesn't care. Sir Criston on the other hand, kinda kills people randomly, and then he keeps acting as if he's still on the right. Dude, you literally just threatened your own Lord Commander. You have no sense of discipline or loyalty. Even the other Kingsguard who have their disagreements would look at that and be like, what the fuck, man? Again, on paper, Criston Cole's actions are not as evil as those of Larys or even Daemon. but the way he does the things he does just makes him look so pathetic, and the fact that he never gets punished for it or faces any consequences for them makes him even more hateable. Actually, never mind, this guy gets promoted for the things that he does. Now, in the book, things are a little different. Criston Cole does kill Joffrey, but he does so in a tournament where accidents can happen and are acceptable. This, of course, does not mean that it was necessarily an accident. Maybe he did it on purpose, you know? But still, it does make his actions forgivable and suspicious to some extent. To be honest, in the book, Sir Criston is just a far more respectable character. Like, he was described as a strong, ruthless, and brutal knight who got shit done. He was the kind of guy that would intimidate you if you were in the same room with him. I would much rather have Sir Criston slit Beastbear's throat with a dagger like he does in the book. But this sort of accident really makes him look like a guy who can't control himself. At least, if he kills him on purpose, he's making a choice. He's choosing to be more violent and ruthless. But this is just so pathetic. This guy literally cannot control himself, and he just ends up killing innocent people because of it. In my opinion, the writers failed him. Like, I don't know, I think that honestly Sir Criston is one of the characters the writers just failed to adapt from the book. Like, completely. The fact that they openly stated their distaste for the character doesn't help me change my mind, you know? Okay, so before I finish this video, I'm going to compare his arc to that of Jaime Lannister from the show and the book. Because for some reason, I've seen people who try to defend Sir Criston compare him to Jaime, which doesn't really work, and here's why. Now, technically you could compare Criston's situation to that of Jaime. Both are Kingsguard knights who lose their honor. And so the story asks us, can these dishonorable knights still be good people? Can a dishonorable person who breaks his vows still be a good person? We learned that Jaime did something dishonorable when he disobeyed the Mad King and killed him alongside his pyromancers. But that was also the best thing he ever did, because it ended up saving so many lives. Sir Criston also loses his honor by breaking his Kingsguard vows. And even though it isn't for a good cause, it doesn't make him evil. Having sex with Rhaenyra and breaking his vow does not make him an evil person. However, what he does after that does. Jaime at least acknowledges his evil actions, like he knows what he did to Bran was bad. He just did it anyways, you know? Overall, both Jaime and Sir Criston's stories make us question the idea of oath-keeping at all costs that is so prevalent in Westerosi society, and they also make us question the stark idea that dishonorable men are always bad men. However, Criston is not just a dishonorable man, he's also a bad man. It is important to remember that Jaime's story does not tell us that things like oaths and honors have no meaning. Overall, things like honor and oath-keeping are not a bad thing. In the book, Jaime starts to take his vows a lot more seriously. His character arc is about him learning from his mistakes, redeeming himself, and learning to become a more honorable person, all while understanding that honor is not the most important aspect of being a good knight or a good person. Sir Criston's arc is about him throwing away his honor and refusing to learn from his mistakes, and that's what makes him even more hateable. Yeah, this is on him, by the way. Don't you dare blame Rhaenyra for this. Oh, but if she hadn't seduced him, he would still be a good person, right? Right? No. If one single action is enough to make him like this, then he was never really that good or honorable to begin with. It is also important to note that this is where figures like Barristan Selmy and Commander Westerling come into play, because they are figures that prove people like Sir Criston wrong. It is possible to be both good and honorable at the same time, even though it is really hard. Because of course, being good is hard, and being bad is easy. These two are an example of both good and honorable man. And the fact that Sir Criston was willing to threaten Commander Westerling shows us how bad he really is. I mean, Jaime would never threaten Barristan Selmy. He actually respected the dude, which shows that his honorable side was still alive, even at his worst moments. In my opinion, the show made Sir Criston too hateable, and I honestly don't even think that redemption is possible for him. Anyway, what do you guys think? Can this guy even redeem himself at this point? I mean, I don't know. I don't think he can. I don't think he even wants to, you know? And I don't think he will have the opportunity to do that. But we'll see how the show will portray his death, I guess. So, in conclusion, I think it is rather easy to see why Sir Criston Cole gets so much hate. Because as a character, he's kinda pathetic. I mean, he's a violent man who cannot control his violent actions. Men who can control their violent tendencies are often seen as more respectable, or at least competent by audiences, while men who can't, and well, act like overgrown children, are hated and seen as pathetic, incompetent, dangerous, and savages. Plus, The fact that Sir Criston continues to put on a facade of a white knight and thinks of himself as a man who can't do anything wrong, all while having no remorse or regret or guilt whatsoever, well, it doesn't help. Anyway, thank you for watching as always, everyone. Please consider liking, sharing and subscribing. I'm trying to make it to 1000 subscribers to see if I can actually start earning something from these videos, so I would appreciate it if you could subscribe to the channel and share it. If you enjoy my content, that is. Thank you for watching as always, and goodbye.